Alright guys, hear me out. When people rank Mortal Kombat games, Mortal Kombat Armageddon is usually one of the hardest to place. Some people absolutely love it and they think it's one of the greatest games of all time. Others think it's one of the most disappointing games in the franchise. And honestly, I understand both sides because Armageddon isn't remembered for being the most polished Mortal Kombat game. It's remembered for something much bigger, and that's ambition. No Mortal Kombat game before it or even after it has attempted something on the same scale, having every single character in one game, a massive conquest mode and character creation alongside Motor Combat and some other game modes that are just cherries on top. And it had a story that tried to end an entire Mortal Kombat era. It was almost too ambitious for its own good. But even with all its flaws, I still think Mortal Kombat Armageddon still matters, because it represents something Mortal Kombat has been missing ever since. So let's talk about it. But before we get deeper into it, if you guys don't know me by now, I'm Mr. Frosty Flames, but you can call me Mike. We do anything gaming news, reviews, playthroughs, etc. And we do it in a chill way with no over editing BS. So if you enjoy that style of content, be sure to hit that sub button and join the Mr. Frosty Flames Legion. We're closing in on 2,500 subs, so I'd really appreciate it if you join the army and help me along that journey. Anyways, let's get back to the video. So, first of all, Mortal Kombat Armageddon is the ultimate celebration game. The first thing people think about when they hear Armageddon is one sentence. Okay, look at this massive roster. Everyone is here. Everyone from Mortal Kombat 1 up until Mortal Kombat Deception was all placed in one roster, and that being the next game, Mortal Kombat Armageddon. And they weren't exaggerating. Every single playable Mortal Kombat character existed at the time made the roster. Heroes, villains, dead people, 3D era newcomers, arcade legends, even obscure characters returned, like, you know, mocap and meat. It felt like the celebration of Mortal Kombat's history. Looking back, I don't think fans appreciated how insane this achievement was. Today, people get excited when a fighting game has even like 30 characters. Armageddon had over 60. That alone made it unforgettable. But did having everyone come at a cost? And that is absolutely. It sacrificed quality for scale. Many characters shared animations, fighting styles disappeared. I mean, they were still there, but unique ones per character disappeared. Individuality suffered, and of course, you know, fatalities were replaced with create a fatality, which people hated. A feature that remains one of the most controversial decisions in franchise history. I mean, imagine a Mortal Kombat game without every character having a unique finishing move. You would have to build your own, and they were often, you know, generic. And I know it sounds super exciting on paper, making your own fatality, but it was just super generic in practice. It just sucked. Every single character was just ripping a heart out or snapping a neck. It really missed what made fatality special, and that decision alone still gets criticized today. But here's the thing. It also showed how difficult it is to create a roster that massive. Armageddon reached for the impossible, and while it didn't achieve perfection, I still respect the attempt. And then you had their innovative conquest mode, because unlike Deception, Armageddon's conquest wasn't focused on exploration. Instead, it became a full cinematic adventure. You followed Taven on a journey across the realms. You met most of the characters on the roster, iconic characters. You witnessed major events and learned more about the history of Mortal Kombat. Some fans, including myself, preferred Deception's approach, while others loved the more story-driven experience and the new combat, something more akin to Shaolin monks. But either way, it proved that Midway wasn't afraid to experiment even within its own ideas. And you also had to create a fighter, and that was ahead of its time. I mean, Soul Calibur did it, but really not a lot of fighting games were making it so you could create your own character, because that is one feature that doesn't get talked about enough, and that's create a fighter. Like I said, back then, making your own Mortal Kombat character felt incredible. You could customize weapons, moves, clothing, powers. It wasn't perfect, but it let players create their own fighter inside the Mortal Kombat universe. Today, character creation is common. It's in games like Tekken 8 and Street Fighter 6, and basically all of the modern fighting games that have sort of like a battle hub where you could create your own avatar and just give it some masters moves. In Street Fighter 6's case, you could learn masters in the World Tour and then study their moves and have them onto your avatar and just have avatar battles. It's cool. It's a fun side mode. But back then, it was incredibly ambitious. Even now, fans still ask for a more refined version of that idea. I remember when Mortal Kombat 1 was first coming out, they were doing the roster leaks and they seen that there was a missing slot on the roster. You remember how the game released with like an odd number of characters or something? It's like they unfinished a character or something. I forgot what it was, but fans thought that it was Create a Fighter, and you know, I thought it was too, and I was like, man, this is cool, I want this back. And everyone was so disappointed when they just seen that it was just really an empty slot. It really just shows that back then Midway and NRS were just more in touch with the fans, more in touch with what the fans want than even nowadays. I mean, with everything that Armageddon had, it was pure fun. If there was one word that I would use to describe Armageddon, well, it's actually two words. It's fan service. Everywhere you look, there was something celebrating Mortal Kombat. The roster, the music, classic stages, references to older games, fun game modes like Mortal Kombat, tons of unlockables. It genuinely felt like Midway wanted to thank fans for supporting the series, and honestly, that passion still comes through today. And it closed an entire chapter. I mean, that was the last 3D era game if you don't count Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. This wasn't just like another sequel. Armageddon was exactly what the name suggested, the end. It brought together nearly every important character, every playable character. It built towards one massive final battle at the end, like an Avengers Endgame final battle, and it closed the book on the original timeline. Whether you love that ending or not, it felt significant. There was a sense that everything had been building towards this moment, and that's something even modern Mortal Kombat hasn't really attempted since, other than, you know, the disastrous Mortal Kombat 1's New Era story. I mean, they tried to do like a big Avengers Endgame final battle or Armageddon final battle, whatever they want to say it, with like the multiversal stuff. It just didn't hit the same as Armageddon. It felt like a cheap knockoff. I mean, even the cutscenes of the battle, I mean, they were cool, but they just didn't hit the same as the original cutscene from the Mortal Kombat Armageddon intro where everybody's clashing. The MK1 just felt like a knockoff, if anything, and it just sucked. Nobody wanted it. If you were gonna have an Armageddon, I keep saying Endgame, I keep thinking Endgame final battle for Mortal Kombat 1 because that's what I used to call it. It's basically an Endgame final battle with all that multiversal BS. But if it tried to have another Armageddon final battle, I say just wait a couple games into Liu Kang's timeline before doing that. I don't know why they just increased the stakes so high for the first game. At least let us bask in Liu Kang's timeline before introducing multiversal stuff. If anything, just remove every single multiversal stuff. Sorry for that mini rant. I just really don't like MK1's story. Anyways, back to the main topic. So the legacy of Mortal Kombat Armageddon. I don't think its legacy is create a fatality or even having every single character. Its real legacy is ambition. You know, Mortal Kombat Armageddon constantly asks, okay, what if we added one more thing? Another mode, another character, another feature. And obviously some worked and some didn't, but the game never felt safe. It wanted to give players everything, and even though it stumbled, I still think fans miss that mindset. Modern Mortal Kombat games often feel more focused. Armageddon felt limitless, and this is why fans still talk about it, because nearly 20 years later, people still bring up Armageddon. I recently had a comment saying, you know, if you had to play one Mortal Kombat game for the rest of your life, what would it be? And Armageddon was one of those picks, not because it was flawless, but because it represented possibility. Whenever fans ask for bigger rosters, they're thinking about Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Whenever they ask for more side modes, they're still thinking about Mortal Kombat Armageddon. And whenever they say Mortal Kombat feels smaller, they're usually comparing it to games on the scale of Armageddon. And that's an incredible legacy. The game wasn't remembered for being perfect, it was remembered for trying to give players absolutely everything. And to be honest, I think that's why people look back on it so fondly. It reminds us more of a time when Mortal Kombat wasn't afraid to dream big. Obviously, I still prefer Mortal Kombat Deception as my favorite 3D era game, but Mortal Kombat Armageddon is a close second. And looking back, Armageddon may never be remembered as the best playing game in the entire series. It may never have the strongest story or the deepest combat, but I don't think that's why people love it. People love Armageddon because it felt like a celebration of everyone, every era, every fan who followed Mortal Kombat up to that point. Its greatest legacy wasn't perfection, it was proving that sometimes being ambitious is worth it, and even if you don't get everything right. And that's why I think Mortal Kombat Armageddon still matters. But now I want to hear from you guys. Do you think Mortal Kombat Armageddon still deserves appreciation today, or do you think its flaws hold it back way harder than it should? Let me know in the comments down below. But if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe to join the Mr. Frosty Flames Legion. Thank you guys for watching. Mr. Frosty Flames out. Ciao.